I'm David. I'm one of the lecturers here at Voice Study Centre, and I'm delighted to be here with Wendy. Wendy, you're on the Masters programme with University of Wales Trinity St David.
Correct.
I wonder if you wanted to tell us a little bit about what stage of the Masters you're in at the moment.
I am currently finishing up Module 3, which is the first real research study that we create on our own, from creating the instruments used to gathering participants and then analyzing the data and reporting on it. I am in the revision stage of that process, and then up next is creating the presentation to give along with the paper.
Fab. So yeah, this has been the first stage where you've done your own primary research. At the beginning of the Masters, you were exploring the literature, synthesizing the literature, but now you're collecting your own data, contributing to knowledge. So what's your paper been about? What's been the topic of your choosing?
So my background has always been a cross section of music and computers. I've taught voice lessons for about 35 years, been a choir director, music directed, performed locally, but that's been half of my life. The other half of my life has been a software developer or web developer primarily. So in keeping with that, my research area has been artificial intelligence in vocal education, trying to discover the perceptions of the educators and possible strategies for integration.
Fab. So what have been some of your key findings? So I know that you're in the revision stages at the moment, but what have been some of the surprising things that you've found?
Some of the surprising things, one not so surprising, is that it's an area that is under-researched, of course, because it is so new, and a lot of educators just don't have enough experience with the technology yet to form an opinion. Uh, Probably the biggest discovery that I made, and again, my study was very small scale with 34 participants on a questionnaire, but there was a correlation between highest level of education and willingness to accept artificial intelligence in vocal education, where the higher the degree, those that had doctorates were much more willing to accept the technology, and those with associate's degrees or less had the lowest, and it went right down from doctorate, master's, bachelor's, straight down in the data, which I thought was quite intriguing.
And of course, this might change over time as the technology becomes more widely available and we know more about it, and
Right.
people are using this in their everyday lives. That, of course, may change. So it'd be really exciting to see, even over the course of your masters, whether this changes, because things are changing so rapidly, month by month, really.
Absolutely.
So is this a topic that you're thinking that you might continue throughout your masters? I mean, the structure of the masters means that you can, for each module, take a different topic and shift your focus, or you can take one topic and develop it right the way through. So is this something that you can see yourself taking right the way through your masters?
Yes, it is. I can definitely see continuing on with this, maybe at some point broadening to other technologies for vocal education beyond just AI, but where it is there is such a deficit in the literature on studies for vocal educators, where these programs are being created and AI tools are coming out, but educators aren't being consulted about what they would like, what they need, what these tools should include. And it really should be involving voice scientists and vocologists and other people other than just the computer developers in this conversation.
Because there are a whole host of ethical implications, aren't there? First of all, the fact that we don't want, as voice practitioners, we don't want to lose our industry. We don't want to hand it over to AI technology entirely. But certainly, from what you've been saying, there are interventions, AI interventions that could be super beneficial. But we need to make sure that these work for all involved, students, voice professionals, teachers, choral directors alike. So I can see that it's something that needs to be very well and deeply considered, and it's clear that you're engaging in part of that, and it sounds really really exciting. So I'm wondering, what do you think you might take from the master's course? What's your hope for moving beyond the master's and your next steps? You may not have, as you're busy finishing off your report, you might not have time to think about the future as such. But I wonder if you've had any ideas of what's next for you.
I had thought about it. Fortunately, I'd given it some thought before I started the master's program, because once you're in the master's program, I found that I hyper focus on things anyway. And every paper I have, I hyper focus on, and I only want to work on that. I don't want to do anything else in my life. But before I had started the master's degree, I kind of took a look at what this next part of my career is. I've taught for a long time. I've worked in web development, and I've been doing both of these, but looking ahead in my life, what do I want to do for these? I'll never get to retire likely, but what do I want to do for the next 20 years? Do I want to continue as a web developer and teaching on the side, or do I want to integrate teaching more again, which I had done in the past? And it was always my goal to get my master's degree. So that's step one. And looking ahead to potentially doctorate, if I survive the master's degree. uh, and going on from there, and really seeing what is available for this next part of my career.
Mm-hmm.
Looking to I don't want to continue to code the rest of my life. I would like to be more involved in artistic endeavors or research or something new. So I'm just looking at the next chapter.
Mm-hmm. And it seems really timely. I mean, these two areas that are big parts of your life are really converging at the present moment. It's a real forefront of what's going on in voice pedagogy that you're exploring. So I think this is really the time for it. So it's, yeah, very very timely, which is very exciting. So studying on the master's course, obviously we're based in the UK, but you're not based in the UK.
How
Um,
could you tell?
so how do you find, coming from the US? How do you find studying in a UK institution? So there's remote learning. We have live lectures, but we also have lectures. We record all of our live lectures, and students can catch up whenever is suitable for them. But how do you find that navigating the time difference?
It's been very easy. Voice Study Center has been great about offering the modules, the different courses that we need at different times of the day. So while I may not be able to attend a class that's at 4 a.m. my time, there would be something at 12 noon instead that I could make. And then any classes that I can't make, I have the availability to watch on the recorded version. And sometimes if there's a very in-depth class that I attend, I can always go back and watch it again later just to make sure that I've picked up those core concepts. So I've found that it's been very helpful and very easy to navigate, having regardless of the time distance.
Super. And I think even if you can attend live, I mean, there's so much going on and you have busy working schedules, working lives as well. All of you students, you're fitting so much into your busy lives that you couldn't possibly attend everything live. So it's a really important part of what we offer here at VSC, that things are recorded, that you're not
Yes.
never excluded from that content because you're busy or because you're in a different time zone. So I'm glad to hear that works well. And I mean, really, the cohort, your cohort, you're quite a big cohort, and we must have students from maybe not quite every continent, but a
All
real a
over.
real spread all over the world.
And I've found also that the tutors have been very flexible about scheduling time for tutorials so that there's always a time. If you have a question, there's always a time that you can schedule with somebody or send off an email. In the communication is usually very quick back and forth. The tutors have all been very attentive, which is helpful as well.
Oh, super. That's great to hear. Well, Wendy, I wish you all the very best with the final touches for your module 3. Really best of luck with that. And for the rest
Thank
of your
you.
masters, it sounds very, very exciting. So
Thank
thank
you.
you for your time today.
Thank you very much.